We are very fortunate today in regards to motorcycle tires. There are makes and compounds for all different types of activities for us to choose from, not to mention different types of carcass construction that give us choices between stiff or soft carcass to assist or amplify suspension action. In considering what to buy, really, what criteria do you have for choosing the set of tires that will best meet your needs? Mileage? Grip? Dual compound or hypersport tires with soft outer edges and a hard center? Does it just come down to budget and price point? Is that your sole criteria? There are a couple of rationales that you should use prior to making a decision and tire purchase, the first being carcass construction. Soft carcass tires give a lot of flex, and as such take a lot of stress off the suspension, which for many riders is a good thing, as this carcass assists in creating a much smoother ride overall. However, for many riders that loss of feel leaves them very uncomfortable, so they will opt for a much harder carcass tire. Why? This kind of carcass gives a tremendous amount of feedback to the rider, but in so doing makes the suspension work a lot harder. The next rationale in choosing tires will be longevity. Do you want a set of tires to last 8,000 miles or 2,000 miles? Because to get something you obviously have to give something up. The obvious criteria here being dollar price would be grip. You have choices in this regard from hard single compounds to dual compounds with soft edges. Given how you ride and the use your bike is subjected to, what will be the best choice for you in terms of tire carcass design? Once you have decided on the carcass choice and longevity perspective, you have narrowed down your hit list of choices and therefore perhaps need to do a little more due diligence with manufacturers' specs and their statements prior to purchasing in regards to mileage, capability, etc. Once purchased, what do you do next? Just run the recommended pressure and go ride? No, absolutely not. Old school drag racers will tell you and talk your ear off about the significance of rollout numbers. Of course, to motorcyclists that means nothing in any way and makes no sense whatsoever. What it refers to is tire circumference. So, do you know what the circumference changes from the tires you took off and the new tires you just put on that are fully inflated? What just happened to your chassis geometrically? Is the bike now nose heavy, flat, or rear biased with weight distribution? Don't say that the tires are terrible when you ride the bike for the first time, because you haven't assessed the geometric change to the chassis due to different circumferences. As a side note, did you buy exactly the same size tires, or did you change sizes from a 120/60 to a 120/70 front tire, for example? Did the rear change from a 180/50 to a 180/55 or 60? If so, now you have some serious math to do to calculate the correct chassis geometry changes so that you can correct the pitch of the chassis. Similarly, if you switch from a hard carcass tire to a soft carcass tire and made no suspension changes, don't complain about the handling of the bike. Realize what you have and make the appropriate suspension changes to preload, compression, and rebound damping based on the change from a hard carcass to a soft carcass. Putting on new tires of a different brand, compound and size has massive, not significant, massive implications on the chassis these days, as does the tire pressure itself for that specific tire. Therefore, be diligent and thorough to make sure that you reset the chassis, you reset the chassis damping and configuration with fork position and shock length, and then also reset the suspension correctly to get the best out of your next set of tires.